Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, March 29th, 2021. We're in the first day of the new trading week, and we're in the final hour of the current trading day. The final hour of the day is my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions, because at the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in, they take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms. What the day traders and the algorithms do, I consider mainly noise. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms. They're dealing with the most money. They have very smart people. They have the best information. They have the best technology. And in my opinion, there is an edge in making your buying and selling decisions based upon what the large financial institutions are doing. So thank you all for coming today. Always nice to see everyone. I consider everyone here a friend, and I'm grateful to have this podcast and this little platform where we can all get together and share ideas and talk a little bit about trading. So currently, it's been a wild one in the market. Again, it just seems to be the norm lately. The Dow is up 113 points, up 0.34%. The NASDAQ, however, is down 83 points, down 0.64%, and the S&P is down 0.76, just slightly underwater, very close to unchanged. So here is the plan for today. First of all, we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we are going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have a couple day trades today that I will share with you as well. After that, we're going to go over to the board. My students have positions up on the board. We're going to take a look at each one of those and see how those are doing. I see a bit of a mixed bag over there currently. After that, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about trader psychology. And controlling your emotions is the greatest skill you can ever develop in trading. You do need to learn how to identify support and resistance, entries, exits, emergency stops, end of day stops, profit targets, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you do have to learn that, but you can have the best trading plan in the world, but if you don't follow it because your emotions get amplified, then it's worth nothing, right? So if you find yourself not being able to follow your plan, you need to work on that. Get a friend or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or a partner. Have them watch over what you're doing. It will improve your performance. I can promise you that. I've done it before. It does make a difference just to be accountable to someone. So, if you're having an issue with that, that is kind of that is my suggestion. Get someone that cares about you and wants you to do well. Show them your trades and be accountable to them for your trades, and it will make a positive difference. I can promise you that. It's pretty easy to do that. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal's scanner. I do have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a new trade. The first requirement is I need to have a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames. Number 2, I need to have a good risk to reward ratio. Risk to reward is very important. You need to be able to make 2 times or more to the upside compared to what you are potentially losing to the downside based upon strong and valid support below you and strong and likely resistance above you. You'll never know. All you can use is your best guesstimate, but you have to use your best guesstimate. And then lastly, before you take a new trade, always make sure that you take a few moments before you hit the buy button. Make sure you have a good, clean trade. Make sure you do not have too many correlated positions. Check your account heat. Make sure that's all good, that you don't have too much of your capital at risk. Even if you have longs and shorts, so many days I've had longs and shorts. My shorts have gone up, my longs have gone down. So whenever you have a position, even if you think it's hedgy, it doesn't necessarily have to be. All right. After that, I have identified some potential candidates for the end of the day. As we get closer to the close, I will go through each one. We'll look at multiple time frames. We'll look at the entry signals. We look at the risk to rewards. And then we'll always keep in mind correlation with my current positions that I have already. That factors into the equation. And then if I find something that looks good at the end of the day, I will go ahead and purchase it before the bell closes, or before the bell rings at the close. After the market's closed, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I'm very happy to answer them. If you're not certain or clear on something I've discussed, just let me know, and I will try to explain it the very best I can to hopefully clarify it for you. And then if you have any stock symbols that you would like me to look at today before the close of the market, put them in the live stream, and I will do my very best to get to them before the close of the market. And then lastly, if any of my students that have positions up on the board, if you have any new entries today or any new exits today, if you could please wait till the end of the day before you tell me what they are, so that the market's closed, I'm done teaching, pressure's off, and I will get to them. And we'll get to them after the market closes, and we'll spend as much time as we need to get them all updated correctly. All right, so hang tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who is here. Let's take a look and see who is here today. Lava is here. Good to see you, Lava. Always nice to have you. Thank you for coming. Sunny is here. Hello, Sunny. Nice to see you. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon to you as well, Sunny. Dan is here. Hi, Greg in the Gossett group. Hello, Dan. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're having a good day in Florida. Kamal is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for everything that you do for this channel, Kamal, with your scanner and your input. I appreciate it. I'm sure everyone else does as well. Jonathan D is here. Evening, Greg and group. Good evening to you, Jonathan. Jonathan is a student of mine in Ireland, and we had a really good lesson on Sunday, and really super impressed with Jonathan. He just aced the lesson for sure. Gold's Eagle is here. Nice to see you again, Gold's Eagle. Hope you are doing well. Gold's Eagle says hello. Howdy right back. David is here. Hello, Mr. David. Good to see you, sir. Hope you and the family and the shoulder are all doing well. Johan is here. Good to see you, Captain. Johan is a commercial airline pilot. That's why I call him Captain. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're flying safe. Hope you're having a good evening in Hong Kong. Tracy is here. Hello. Good to see you, Tracy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and Paxton are both doing well. And looking forward to our lesson on Wednesday. And speaking of Paxton, there he is. Hi. Good to see you, Packy. Nice to see you, bud. Tracy and Paxton are friends of mine. They live in my same city. And Yavar is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Yavar. Good to see you, sir. Always appreciate you coming by and seeing you in the chat. That is for sure. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's take a look, see what's going on. All right, so Frank, David, Tracy, Johan, and myself did take this return to value sideways motion, false breakout to the downside, V1 entry back on the 25th of March at 250.86. It has been a champion ever since. Of course, no matter how good the setup is, I know that it can still fail, but this setup was so perfect. And so far, as advertised, it has worked out. Bought it at 250.86. It's 259.46. Did hit one profit target today at 259.03. It's up 1.16% on the day. and from entry to closing prices up 3.33%. So that's been a great little trade for sure in a couple days. I guess I made a no-no here, and I forgot to indicate where I go into trailing stop mode. I can't believe that, as much as I talk about trailing stop mode. Well, look at that. Trailing stop mode is right here. So I am now in trailing stop mode on this trade. Whenever the price moves 1.5, the value of 1.5 ATRs from my entry, I go into trailing stop mode so I can protect my profit. So I am in trailing stop mode today. Got to trailing stop mode. So going forward, if I get a close below the previous day's low, I will go ahead, lock in profits. Of course, if it keeps moving up, I'm not going to do anything other than I will take my partial profits as we go along. You can see that I hit one partial profit here today at 259.03. My next one is at 261.60. Don't know if it will hit that today. That would be nice. But anyway, total trade plan. Pressure is always off once I hit the trailing stop, because now I almost know for certain that I'll have a profitable trade. Maybe not, right? Knock on wood. But now that I am 1.5 ATRs from my entry, tomorrow if it just came crashing back down to my entry point, I would exit. So Jonathan, if you're out there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Bought here, got to 1.5 ATRs above my entry. Now I'm in break even mode. If it ever came back to break even, my entry price, I would go ahead and sell it immediately. I would not wait for the end of the day, and it would still be a profitable trade because I have hit profit targets and already locked those profit targets in. All right, light. All right, so this was a weekly trade. I like the setup. It's not doing well yet, but I really do like the setup. It's very similar. If we look over here at Berkshire Hathaway on the daily, you can see it came into the value zone, started going sideways, had a trigger V1, V2. Well, look at the weekly here. Oh, wrong one. Let's look at the weekly here. Very similar, right? If you didn't know you were looking at a weekly bar, you might think, hey, is that Berkshire? Because it's so similar. In, sideways, false breakout to the downside, V1. I bought it on Friday at 91.74. It's 90.25. It is down 1.83% today, which is a bummer. But as far as the chart goes, there is no damage done here whatsoever. This is a weekly bar, so I'm going to make my buying and selling decisions on the end of the bar, which a weekly bar, the end of the bar is Friday. So if it closes below halfway the washout bar of last week, I will get out. If it closes above my stop loss, but it rejects the 50, I will get out of half. So anyway, this is a weekly bar. This is going to take a little bit longer to play out. SPY. All right. As you know, I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it first thing the next morning at the open. I bought this on Friday at 395.40. I sold it right at the open like I was supposed to at 394.35. So I bought it 395.40. I sold it 394.35, so I lost $1.05 on the overnight SPY trade. This is how it goes. You never quite know. It's very streaky. But listen, what are we in 2021? I started trading this in 2019. It was profitable through the year in 2019. It was profitable in the year in 2020. And so far this year, it has been profitable as well, but just not Friday over the weekend holding there. So may have won the battle today, but big picture, the approach is winning the war. SSO. All right. So Tracy and David, I think that was all. Tracy and David and I bought this nice return to value. We had a lower high. We washed out the low, that first low, or in other words, a false breakout to the downside with the V1. Bought it here at 98.93. Friday was a big day up. Today, of course, we got back to about halfway of that yesterday's bar. Lilia, if you're out there and you're watching that, reversed off the lows. It's up 0.15, or it's up 15 cents today, up 0.15%. Have not hit a profit target yet, but still pretty good trades so far from entry to current price, up about 3.26%. All right, Qs. Let me take you let me take you through the day trade on the Qs first, so I can clean up the chart, look a little easier. Okay. On the 25-minute bar, we had a close above the 200-day moving average. I didn't chase it up there, but then it came back. It went under the 200 moving average, closed right barely above, which gives me a very good risk-to-reward ratio and more confidence because it went under and again and closed back up. So it tested it. I bought it here at 316.30. This is a 25-minute bar, so it's a little bit longer bar. So I bought it at 316.30, and then the next bar started to go up, but at the end of the bar, it closed below the 200. So that was my stop loss on this one. So I bought at 316.30 and I sold at 315.50. So I did lose 80 cents on that day trade. All right, now let's take us back over to, I also have a swing trade on the Qs, return to value, false breakout to the downside, bought here at 313.82 on Friday. So I bought a little earlier in the day, and then we had that huge rally. So I bought at 313.82. It's currently 315.66. It is down a little on the day, but it's still nicely up on the trade. The one thing that I will be watching, however, we closed over 50 RSI on Friday. Today it's at 49.10. My stop is halfway of this washout bar, close below halfway of this washout bar. However, if we close under the 50, because we went above it and now we're below it, if it does close under 50, I will look at that as a warning sign and I will get out of half of my position and keep the other half until we get a close below this previous low. But whenever I reject the 50 RSI above me, it is concerning. And so that will be my plan. Hopefully we'll close over 50 and we won't even have to worry about it. All right, lastly, I did have a trade on Thermo Fisher. Kind of an interesting trade. You don't see me take day trades like this too much, but I did have some company today and I wasn't in front of the charts. I was busy with some other stuff. And so what I saw was this big, huge bar, and Lilia has this, by the way, and she bought it here at 446.61. Went up, went down. She wasn't able to get out here, and then it went roaring up for her, which I'm really glad. But today, when we got to see the big bar we had on Friday, big bar. Well, you know, any of my students, and a lot of you will know that if I get a big bar up like this and it comes back to halfway, that it more than likely, more times than not, will hold there. And so when it got back to 451.60, I just bought it. I didn't really day trade it. I just bought it at that level. And my kind of end of day stop on that was, okay, if it closes below halfway, but I was right at halfway, right? So I'd minimized my risk quite a bit. But it took off nicely. I bought it at 451.60. When it came up, tested the previous high, that's when I got out. I was like, that's a great trade. In at 451.60, out at 460.60. So is about 9 points on this day trade, but a little bit different type of day trade than I usually took. I just took a stab at it here halfway, assuming that it would hold. And when it got to the top, I thought, well, we probably have resistance up there, and it was a nice trade. And so I will get rid of it. But this day trade by itself, 1.99%. intraday, right? So that was a good one. All right, let's take a look at FNTN Fortnite, which Steve Burns bought at 520 for the 520 EMA crossover. He bought it on Friday at 179.71. It's currently 183.40. It's up 0.34%. So very nice trade there, Steve. JP Morgan, Johan bought JP Morgan at 152.60. It's currently 153.31. So you are back in the money. Bonds are down quite a bit today, which makes interest rates go higher, which are good for the financials. So anyway, a little down on the day, but still nicely up on the trade for Johan. Monster. Steve bought Monster back here with the 520 EMA cross. He bought it at 88.95. Initially went up, came back down, held the 5 and the 20. Friday had a big day up. Today, it's unchanged, actually, but from entry to current price, up about 2.97%. So nice trade there, Steve. Nike, speaking of Nike, Steve and David bought Nike with the combination signal of the under 30 over 30 and the under the negative third over the negative third. Bought it at 128.91. It is 133.64, up about 0.5% today and up about 3.43%. So nice deep dip buy for Steven and for David. LITE, okay. Oh, I'm in this, but Gary also did credit spreads of 80, 77, 50 strikes expiring April 16th for $60 contracts. Essentially, Gary needs the price to stay above $80 by April 16th, and then he will collect $60 for however many contracts that he wrote. Currently, it's 90.18, so he has $10 protection, which is a good little feeling. Beyond Meat. I always say Beyond Meat. Boyd Gaming, Boyd Gaming, Paxton and Tracy bought this back here around $47. They've had a great, right here the value zone, which I liked, and that 520 cross. Sold half here with a close below the previous day's low and a rejection of the 70, about 58. Had a nice reversal on, what's that, Thursday. Friday came down a little bit, and today it's down 4%. So that's kind of a bummer. Holding the 50 SMA, which is good. So down on the day, but they're still nicely up on the trade. eBay, Timothy, and Mamal had a nice deep dip buy here with the intraday rejection of the 200. They bought it at 53.30. Next day, intraday went below, but at the end of the day, pulled it out, held above the 200, and it just rallied beautifully. Tim and Mamal got out of half here when it had a close below the previous day's low after being more than 1.5 ATRs from entry. Last couple days, we rallied back up, down 1.97% again today, but up 10.65% on this trade. So that's definitely one of the better trades. Etsy. All right, so I still have Carlos and Gary in Etsy from 215.80. Was the 1050 SMA crossover. It failed in dramatic fashion, but I still have Carlos and Gary in here. Gary has a half a position. Baidu. All right, Steve and David did buy Baidu with the under 30, with the bounce at the 30, the bounce at the 200-day moving average. They bought it at 197.42. It is currently 201.14. It is down 3.56% today, but they are still up on the trade. And, here's the big bar up. So, if you were in my head, where would you think this would come down to? Probably about halfway, maybe back down here to about 193. I don't know if it will, but, if it did tomorrow or today, well, I guess tomorrow, and I was day trading and I saw it hovering and holding at halfway of the big up bar, I would switch to a smaller time frame and I would look to day trade it, being that the larger time frames holding that 50 Fibonacci number and then switching to a smaller time frame to trade it. Roku. All right, so we have Steve buying Roku. Looks like with an under 30, over 30 deep dip buy. He bought it at 304.53. Excuse me. It's 302.02. This one is down on the day and a little bit down on the trade. Now, Lilia bought now with the close back above the 200 at 494.90. It's currently 485.31. So this one is down on the day. Currently it is underneath the 200. I imagine Lilia's end of day stop is a close below the 200-day moving average. Nvax. Big trade here from Frank. Frank bought this all the way back here at 135. It more than doubled. He wisely sold 90% of his position. He held a 10% runner, which just kind of came down, blah, 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 blah. Rallied, down, but he only has 10%, so I'm sure he's not sweating it too much. Look here, Frank. It held the 100-day last time. The 100 was really good support. And right now it's holding it again. So that is a bit of a good sign. And then PKI, Kamal bought PKI at 126.60 with the close over the 200-day moving average. Poked its head down a couple times, but he's still nicely in the money. He bought it 126.60. It's 128.99, although it is down just a smidge today. Okay. Let me take care of a little business here. Give me 1 second. All right, I think we're taking care of there. And we are, yes. All right. So, David says shoulder back to 100%. That's great, David. Great to hear that. Timothy, my friend, how you doing, buddy? Hello, everyone. Good to talk to you earlier in the day, Tim, and we'll get that Skype call going. Tracy said, I'm actually not in BKRB. Oh, you're not? Oh, I don't know why I had that up there. That's a bummer. Okay, Lilia is here. Hello, Lilia. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well and the dogs are doing well. Please say hello to the dogs for me. Mamal is here. Good to see you, Mamal. I was just talking about you over there on eBay. Quad says, good afternoon, Greg and group, and happy Monetary Monday. Well, I did not know it was Monetary Monday, Quad. Thank you for letting us know. Gary says, hello, Greg and group. Hello, Mr. Gary. Always nice to see you, sir. Steve Burns is here. Hello, Steve. Always an honor and a privilege to have you here. You know I mean that. I'm sure everyone else in the podcast means that. Thank you for everything that you do for this channel. Much appreciated, my friend. And hope you're having a good day. And I just went over some of your trades, and those look pretty good. Frank is here. Hello, Greg and group. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. And does Frank have a poem for us? He certainly does. So let's put it up there. Let me type it on in there. And let's read it. How many jump into trading because rates are so low? They need a way for their money to grow. But that holds danger. Perhaps they don't know, because without proper teaching, look out below. Golly. Well, that about sums it all up in one poem, Frank. That's amazing. How many jump into trading because rates are low? A lot of people, they're getting their stimulus checks. They want to jump into trading. You know it's true. They need a way for their money to grow. What's out there? You're going to make some money in real estate. You're going to make some money in stock. You're certainly not going to make it putting it in an interest-bearing account. But that holds danger. Because perhaps they don't know. Because without proper teaching, look out below. I mean, I was going to say I couldn't say it better, but Frank always says everything better than what I would say. Not even close. But Frank, that's just so great. I mean, you're right. It holds danger if you're in a crowded trade. A crowded trade means everyone's in it. Well, everyone's in real estate. Everyone's in the stock market. You know how that ends, right? It usually ends in tears. I hate to say it, but when trades get overcrowded, you better get out before everybody starts getting out, because it can go down quickly. Yeah? Makes sense? All right. Let's see what we're doing over here. All right, give me one little second there. Okay, how we doing? 1:30? All right. Well, let's get the trader psychology real quick, and then we'll get on to our end of day trades. But this is from Stephen Goldstein at AlphaMind101. And listen, if you have not subscribed to Stephen Goldstein, you really should. He's at AlphaMind101 on Twitter. He has the Alpha Mind podcast, which is one of the best trading podcasts out there. They interview all sorts of different traders, from small retail traders like myself up to hedge fund managers, large institutional money managers, forex traders, futures traders, options traders, all sorts of good stuff. And I was just really honored to be asked to be a guest on this podcast twice. So thank you, Stephen, for that. I really appreciate it. But if you have not subscribed to him on Twitter, please do so. If you do, you can find all of his podcasts there when they post the new one, and listen to them. They are great podcasts. You will learn a lot. And Stephen is a retired professional trader. He is now a full-time trading and consulting coach, world class. So whenever Stephen mentions or puts up a post, I listen. So two, three little word phrases you may want to acquaint yourself with if you really want to succeed at trading. Do you really want to succeed at trading? Okay then, so acquaint yourself with 2-3 little word phrases. The first one, I don't know. Second one, I was wrong. If you struggle with these, it may be a sign your ego is in control of your trading. Take it from me, I've been wrong enough to know. So, should we unpack that? No matter how much you think you know something's going to happen, everyone in the market, you really don't. You really do not know. If you think you know, that is when you are going to get into issues, because you think you know something that's a fantasy that does not exist, and it will keep you in a trade longer than you should be. And the other one is I was wrong. Do you have a hard time saying I was wrong? I don't. I say it all the time. I have no issue saying I was wrong. When I was younger, no. I think my ego got in the way of that. But trading cured me of that, right? Whenever I get into a trade, I don't want to sound negative, but when I get into a trade, I assume I'm going to be wrong. Does that sound negative? Possibly, but there's a method to my madness. If I think to myself, I'm probably going to be wrong on this trade, what are the benefits of that? I'm not going to get married to the trade. If I'm wrong, I'm going to go, aha, I was right. And I'm going to get out quickly, because see how it got my ego involved there? I said I was going to be wrong. I was wrong. So it's just, it's just a little trading hack that you can use. But if I get into a trade and go, oh man, I know what's going to happen with this one, and if it starts going against me, I can't say I was wrong. That's where the troubles start. So remind yourself that you don't know. Remind yourself it's okay to be wrong, and get out quickly when you're wrong. And remind yourself, if you struggle with I don't know and I was wrong, it may be a sign your ego is in control of your trading. And trust me, the worst thing that can happen to you in trading is having your ego in control of your trading instead of your trading plan. So be honest with yourself. Think about it. Do you have a problem saying, I really don't know what's going to happen? And do you have a problem with saying, I was wrong? And if you do, please work on that. You need to work on yourself in that regard, because if you don't, it's going to end in tears in trading, I can promise you. So thank you, Stephen Goldstein. I have seen this post before, but I really like it. So I wanted to do a little rerun on this. I think I did it about a year ago, but hope you're doing well, Steve. And again, please subscribe to him at Alpha Mind 101 and listen to his podcast, the Alpha Mind 101 podcast. All right, Frank says, thanks, Dan. Johan wants to look at REGN. All right, looks like we have a 520 crossover. I have my crossover up here. Let me take a look and see if that backtests well. REGN. It backtests really well. Let's take a look. All right, everybody. This is from etfreplay.com. I am using this by permission. REGN, the 520 EMA crossover. And we do the back test on it. Man, excuse me. And that one's so good, I am definitely going to have to put that one on the board because look at this back test. Back test positive 1,803%. Buy and hold was 3,174. This is interesting. Usually you see the max drawdowns much lower than the buy and hold, but this one, I mean, it is less, but not a lot less. So yes, that one does back test well. Let's take a look at it. In the value zone, not too bad. It's not above the second ATR channel, so that would qualify, and it does back test well. So let me do a little math here. All right, so let me put this down on the potential board. That's not right. Okay. Not thrilled that it rejected the 50-day moving average, although that doesn't really come into play with the pure crossover system. On the weekly, V1 happened. Still has some room to the 50. Yeah, one's pretty decent. Tim says, Greg, would you like to do a deep dip buy with a big bar like DISCA? Ooh, DISCA. Well, first of all, it's not over the 30 RSI yet. It's 29.53. It did reject the 100. I mean, you could certainly make a case for getting in here and having your stop as a close below the 100-day moving average. But man, that was a lot of selling. Of course, here's the big down bar. We could certainly rally to about halfway here. We might have 5-6 points. So from a risk to reward standpoint, it does make sense. But this kind of big bar, I just look at that, Tim, as yes, it's a deep dip buy, but I would have much rather had it come back down a little bit slowly, have some give and take to it. But this is just a pure collapse. And so in my opinion, I would not go for this at all here at this moment because I just feel like that chart is broken. Does that make sense, Tim? Steve says, every day I assume every position I have is wrong. Paul Tudor Jones. Oh, okay. So I'm in good company with Paul Tudor Jones because that is how I look at every trade. I look at every trade like it's probably not going to work. That way I position size correctly. If it doesn't work, I go, aha, I'm right. It fulfills my ego. I can get out quickly. But I'm glad to hear that Paul Tudor Jones said that as well, Steve. Steve says, my TrendSpider interview recording is live. Oh, Steve, could you... Oh, you sent me the link on Twitter. Okay. Let me grab it. And we'll get this all taken care of. Okay. Wait, let me do it this way. All right. Okay, everybody, here is the link for Steve's new interview on TrendSpider. This is on YouTube. So let's watch it, shall we? I'll listen to that while I am hiking today. So that's the link right there that I just posted there for Steve. Johan says, minus points for REGM seems to have rejected the 50 in the 1 ATR channel. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. A little bit of minus points. We rejected the 50 over here. We rejected it here. We've done it again. If we look over on the weekly's okay. I mean, we have a higher low V1 in place. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't help but notice the 50-day moving average. I don't know. I think if I were to take this, I would use the half approach. I would take half of the position now. If it keeps going up, wonderful. But if it comes back down, then I don't care, because if it comes back down, gives me a better risk to reward ratio, then I can add my second half. Remember, it technically, yes, it's averaging down, but I don't consider it in the negative way of averaging down because it's part of my plan. If you buy something with a full position and it goes down, you get frustrated and you buy more. That is definitely a no-no. But if you buy half and your plan is buying the other half if it goes down, in my book, that is okay. Steve says Roku tweezer bottom bullish but dangerous if it fails. Johan, so Steve has Roku, right, Steve? Tweezer bottom bullish. I don't know what a tweezer bottom bullish is. But yes, very dangerous if something fails in this kind of location. If, like, let's see, Steve, did we get an under 30, over 30 for Steve today? For another one? No, not quite. Not quite. Yep, interesting one there. Johan wants to look at WWE. Is that Worldwide Wrestling? It is, actually. It's not bad. This big bar here is concerning to me. But we did come into the value zone. We had 1 day of sideways motion, which is not enough. But then we had a false breakout to the downside and reversal back up. So if I only get 1 day sideways motion, I can't take the trade. But if I get a false breakout to the downside of the range and then a V2, that would qualify. I mean, that definitely would qualify. My stop would be right here, halfway the washout bar at about 54.70. So you're risking a couple bucks to the downside, maybe to make $4 or $5 to the upside. If we look at the weekly, I don't like the weekly bar. You know what I'm going to say. Big weekly bar, halfway bounce would, about 50, 56, 57. So from a risk to reward ratio based upon what the halfway bar of the weekly, I mean, I could see taking it, but I don't know. I'm concerned about the big bar. That's what's getting me. Dan says the like button is asking to be smashed. Thank you, Dan. Yes, if you like today's podcast, I really would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button, everybody. You know, it really does help the channel and helps YouTube, get it out there a little bit more. So if there's something that, you find helpful today or you've been finding helpful in the past, I would certainly appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button like Dan mentioned. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. All right. So let's take a look at current positions before I get too crazy with anything new. Berkshire Hathaway doing really well for Frank David and Johan at the 1.5 ATR trailing stop level. So that makes things nice. Hit the one profit target there. Light, my weekly trade, not doing so hot tamale, but still no chart damage done here whatsoever. SPY, I had the overnight SPY loss. I will be taking another I will be buying this again, of course, at the close. SSO up now again, which is good. Tracy and David and I had that. We bought that with a false breakout to the downside in the V1. It is up nicely from entry. Take care of a little busy biz over here, everybody. And a little busy biz over here. All right. Qs, again, I bought that with the false breakouts to the downside in the V2. We're at 48.93. So again, if it was over 50 during the day, if it closes on over 50, I will take that as a bad sign and I will sell half. But again, I have to wait till the close before I do anything. And then TMO, that was a day trade. Lily is doing nice on that day trade. So that's a goodie. Steve says primary rotation into large cap index stocks, SPY, DIA, lots of other stock charts still looking shaky. Yeah, well, the NAS NASDAQ is looking a little shaky, I would say. It's been extremely volatile this whole week. Okay, let's go down and take a look at some potentials today, see if we have anything interesting. Here's EWZ. This is the iShare Brazilian Index Fund, so I assume you're buying the index of the Brazilian stock market. We have a close back over the 200-day. Here's the thing. When I see how we have a close under, we have a close over, we have a close under, close under, over, went over, we're back over. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't like scream at me. If I look at the weekly, we have the one ATR channel above, which that's a little concerning. It's a decent risk to reward, but I don't like the weekly. I don't like the negative one ATR channel just hovering right over the top. So I'm going to pass on that. MDB, Mongo, rejection of the 250-day moving average, intraday rejection. Earlier it was back over 30 when I liked it a little bit better, but now it's 29.49. So on the positive side, rejection of the 250, good. On the negative side, a rejection of the 30 RSI, bad. MDB, let's see if we can do MDB if I even have it. Oh yeah, we have it. Back test okay, off of the 250, 83% compared to 120, not anything stellar. But in the context of everything, with being over 30 and under 30, that's the negative. The rejection of the 250, positive, but just that by itself, I think I'm gonna pass. All right, here we have Booking Holdings, BKNG. Let's take a look at BKNG here with the 520 crossover. Oh, making it worse. Oh my gosh. Duh. All right, here we go. Booking Holdings. We'll use the 520 crossover. I did that wrong. It needs to be exponential. Well, interesting. It does backtest well, 314%. I shouldn't say well, but it does backtest positively. The buy and hold was up 7,643%. It has a winning percentage of only 33%. The winning factor is 1.5%. Maximum drawdown's pretty close to the maximum drawdown of buy and hold. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on that one. I might be interested tomorrow if we get a pullback. It just seems chasey after 3 days up. There was a lot of resistance over here. So I think we're getting pretty close to where we're going to find resistance. So I don't like that one either. Netflix. Well, let's test Netflix. Over the 200. Well, that certainly works. Look at that. 12,395%, almost as good as buy and hold and much less on the drawdown. So, you know, Netflix is okay. It seems a little bit chasey, a little bit not too bad. Weekly's in the value zone. It's above 50. Actually kind of like it, but what I like it for a half position right here. Let's see how high we got on the today's bar. We got to 48. Does backtest really well, there's no doubt. I guess the time to bought it was on Friday. Google pretty strong. What I'm waiting for on Google is the 1030 SMA crossover. You can see the 10 is still under the 30. This looks really choppy and really kind of volatile. I'm going to wait and see if I can get a crossover to possibly help that ride that out. Because remember, again, I already have the cues, right? So I have to keep that in mind. And then Regeneron does have the 520 crossover. It does backtest very well. Has a higher low V1 on the weekly. It's up 1.01%. We are right back into traffic here and resistance, and we have rejected the 50 here, and here. Doesn't mean it can't go up, but I think I'm just going to wait on that one. RJW, I don't see anything here. AMD is down. Like to see a test of the 250. Edit, rejection of the 250. I don't think that's enough, to be honest with you. Nectar, looks like we're losing the 200-day moving average, so no. ARE, Alexandria Real Estate, this, I would wait for a fractal on this one. I would wait for a big breakout. This is a lot of consolidation, but we are right here to where most of the time it goes right back down. OIS, I don't really see anything there. And TMUS, I don't really see anything there. So, I honestly don't see anything I like here. I think I'm reaching if I said I would like something here, to be honest. So, Berkshire Hathaway's doing great. Hold. Light, doing just fine. That's a weekly. SPY, of course, I'm buying that at the close. SSO is negative now, but still okay. And Qs, does look like we're going to reject that 50 RSI, so I will sell half of my Qs here today. So yeah, I really don't see anything that I like that much, everyone. I'm gonna stick with the Qs. I mean, I'm gonna sell half of the Qs here in the next 7 minutes if it closes under the 50. And that's about it. I really don't see anything else that I want to buy today. Gold's Eagle says, can we look at AU? Yes, of course. Anglo Gold. Whoa. Hey, that's nice. Do you have that, Gold's Eagle? Wow. So looks like some gold miners doing pretty well here. That's really great and it's really strong and I hope you have it, but I would not chase this. I would not buy this after 2 big strong days up like that. I think more than likely, you have some sideways motion or a little bit of a pullback. Doesn't have any crossovers. If we look at the weekly, well, look at that, Kamal. That on the weekly, this would be a decent trade on the weekly right here, right now. It's a nice higher low V2 that you could buy actually right now, but you'd have to position size lower amount because the weekly moves more. I would probably put my stop at about 22.97, but you might get up to 24. So on the weekly, this does kind of make sense here, but it does not make sense to me on the daily. Johan says, I find the big bar concerning too, so just wanted to hear your opinion. But what's also interesting to me is the big up and down actually happening with huge volume within an hour. Massive moves. I mean, you turn your head, 1 minute you feel smart, the next minute you feel not so smart. I've walked in and out of my room going, oh, great, I'm up. Oh, great, I'm down. Oh, great, I'm up. Oh, I'm down. Lova says, I feel better now. I couldn't find a good one today either. Great, Lova. So we're on the same wavelength, buddy. Johan says, waiting for a 520 crossover in MA maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I've been looking at MA as well. Lots of nice sideways motion, return to value, sideways motion, some value. Some buyers came in here supporting it. Looking for a 520 crossover, I think would be an excellent, excellent idea, Johan. All right, so Apple went negative. I'm out of my TMO trade. That was a great trade. I haven't placed a trade like that for a minute, but I guess it was the right thinking. I bought it halfway, which was support. I sold at the top, which was resistance, and it was a 9-point trade intraday. So I'm kind of stoked about that, to be honest with you. Okay, I've got to turn my attention over to the Qs. What are we at? 48.99. So I'm gonna have to get this one on the chopping block. Maybe it's 49.12 right now. If it holds over 50, I'll keep it all. If it closes under 50, I will sell half. Steve says PKI close to a 520-day EMA crossover, maybe tomorrow. PKI, doesn't Kamal already have PKI? Yes, he does. Yep, maybe tomorrow we could get it. If we could break out of this top of this range here, break out of the fractal plus the 520 crossover, that would be good. So I hope for Kamal's sake that does that for sure. Okay, about a minute and 40 seconds to go. It's still having issues with the 50 RSI. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sell half. And I'm going to go ahead and sell half. I guess if it closes back over 50, I have to hurry and buy it back. I don't know. Thirty seconds to go. Yeah, I don't think it's going to close over. So I think the selling of the half was the right maneuver. All right. That is the market. So pretty easy on this one today. I did buy SPY only at 395.78. All right. So, boom, boom, boom. 395.78. All right, so that's it. So If anybody has any of my students have any new positions for me that they would like me to update on the board, please put it in the live stream. We'll get it all taken care of. Before we get to that, just a few reminders. One, I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I think the best way to learn is one-on-one with your coach or instructor, and that's why I have this available. I teach a 15-hour course. Each session is 3 hours, and there's a total of 5 sessions. That's where you get the 15 hours. In those 5 sessions, I teach you all 5 of my trading approaches that you can use almost in any type of market. I teach you step-by-step how to position size, emergency stop, end of day stop, profit targets, overhead resistance levels. Everything that you know, so you don't have to question, so you'll know if and when to take this trade. I have had many students, I have taught many students, and I have really turned out some really great ones that I'm really proud of. And so if you take this course, I know you will be a better trader. I have no doubt in my mind. It does cost $1,750, but for the amount of time and the attention that you get and my patience, right, I think it is worth every penny. And I know if you put what I teach you into use, you're probably going to do pretty well as a trader. And even if you take the worst case scenario, you are certainly going to lose a lot less money than you would had you not taken the course. Like, I'm kind of joking with that, but I'm kind of serious also. So if you are looking, if you have been thinking about scheduling this course with me, all you have to do is send me an email. Email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. If you do, I'll reply and say, how's it going? Thanks for saying hi. Let's set up a Skype call. Skype call's free. I just want to learn more about you, your trading, your goals, your challenges, and then it's a good time for you to ask me questions, specific questions that you may have about the course. And then after the call, you can think about it, of course, as long as you want. And then if you want to, you can email me back and we'll get it scheduled. Okay, there's number one. Number two, I did put out my first online course on udemy.com. It's a really great course. I teach you step by step the deep dip buy stock trading strategy. I use the deep dip buy strategy all the time in day trades, during days, also on weekly bars. It's one of my go-to trading strategies. And in that course is 9.5 hours, 26 videos, 15 study guides. And the good news, you're going to learn a great trading approach. And the better news, on Udemy, when it's on sale, it's like $12, $13, $14, $15. So for $12 or $15, you are going to learn a great trading approach. And so the link for that course on Udemy is in the description of this video. And then lastly, like we were talking about earlier, if you could be so kind, if you like today's podcast, if you found something helpful, if you could hit the thumbs up button before you click on out of here and get on with your day, I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot more than you probably know. So if you take a half a second, click that thumbs up button for you, Boogie, I would really appreciate it. Okay. So let's go over and take a look and see. Let's see. Kamal, no trade. Okay. Lilia, I'm out of now. No new trades today. All right. You're out of now. Yep. That makes sense with the close below the 200. Good trade, Lilia. Remember, you don't have to make money on a trade for it to be a good trade. If you followed your trading plan, just then by itself, it becomes a good trade. So good trade, Lilia. Quad says, still in cash. Nothing really jumped to me today. I agree. Timothy says, I am out of eBay, so you decided to take eBay off. Okay. Gotcha out, Tim. Nice trade, buddy. That was a good one. Johan says, have to recommend Greg for his patience and approach. I did learn a lot from him. Thank you, Johan. I appreciate that. Timothy says, you are extremely patient, even dealing with someone like me. It amazed me in your energy super late in the night. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you. Both of you were excellent students. And, I try to have as much patience as I possibly can because it's very important for me, for anyone that takes my course, that they get their money's worth. You know what I mean? And I'm really always rooting for them. So I don't like to move on in the lesson until I feel like the student has grasped the concept. Quad says, highly recommend Greg's training. If you can afford his one-on-one course, go for it. You won't be disappointed. Otherwise, his Udemy is also top-notch info. Thank you, Quad. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've got a lot of good feedback on the Udemy course. So very kind, Tim, Johan, and Quad. I appreciate that. Okay, well, let's see. What's happening after hours? Apple's down a little. BRKB's down a little. The Dow is down a little. Light is unchanged. Master's down a little. Quad. Q's up 28 cents. That's good. What about SPY? Unchanged. SSO unchanged. What about bonds? Up a little. That's good. We actually want bonds to go up. That'll be better for the market. And the VIX, VIX up 5%. Let's take a look at the dollar, shall we? You know, the dollar really has a big effect on the stock market. Generally, if the dollar is rallying, that makes it more expensive for people to buy American goods. And generally, as a rule of thumb, the higher the dollar goes, the worse it is for the stock market. And look at this rally in the dollar. My gosh. Now, we're right at the 200-day moving average. We did close above it. My guess, and I could be 100% wrong because I am often wrong, if we get a close below this 200-day moving average, you know, maybe that will be a top. Maybe we'll come back on down. Come back on down. I don't know that for sure, obviously, but I think that would be good for the market. I just think the strong dollar policy, or not the policy, but just the strength in the dollar that we've had is a bit of a headwind for the U.S. stock market. Look at this beautiful false breakout to the downside in V1 down here. I mean, that was the trigger, wasn't it? False breakout to the downside from the lows and a V1. Yep, pretty cool. Kamal says, Greg, have you thought about a regimen filter on the market or ETF in which swing trades work better? Have you thought about a regime filter on the market or ETF in which swing trades work better? Well, one that would come to mind right off the top of my head would be don't take any trades under the 200-day moving average. I mean, that is one. Talking about Paul Tudor Jones, that's something he uses as well. But, you know, then I miss out on some of those under 30, over 30s. I think, you know, combination, confluence of indicators, Kamal, is what I'm looking for always. I guess I could certainly add another filter on there. I don't know who it would be. I mean, look, if you took higher low V1s and V2s, if you had a filter where you only took those if MACD was positive, I think all in all, you'd probably get a higher winning percentage. But are you gonna, you know, are you still gonna make money on decent higher low V1s, V2s when MACD is not positive? I think so. So I don't think I have much on that comment there, Kamal, to be honest with you. And hey, I'm going to post Steve's interview that's up on YouTube with TrendSpider. I'm going to listen to that today on my podcast. I'm on podcast. I'm going to listen to that today when I'm out hiking. So let me put it in there one more time for you guys in case you want to check that out. You know, you always see Steve in here. You see him say hi and all that kind of stuff. But if you haven't got to know Steve a little bit, and maybe you get to know him a little bit by seeing him and listening to him being interviewed. So once again, the difference today of being positive and negative did come from the day trade, thanks to TMO. So happy to have a green day today. Thankful for that as always. Thankful for BKRB doing well. But yeah, it's been volatile lately. That is for sure. 1 second you feel pretty smart. Next second, 10 minutes later, maybe you don't feel so smart. But it's definitely a different market. It's definitely a different market than when we have been used to, with just the relentless going up, 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 up. This is real trading here. All right. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Anything I can help anyone with? Any additions or subtractions over on the board? I did take one off for Lilia. I did take one off for Timothy, I believe. Kamal says, thank you, Greg. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Kamal. Appreciate that, my friend. Hope you and the family are doing well, and I hope you have a good rest of your day as well. All right, well, I guess it's time for Martin Kornfeld time. If we all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction. So please try to go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just hold the door open for them, say hello, be kind, give them a hand. It will make them feel better. It will make you feel better. You know, if you come across an animal, if you could do something nice for an animal, that would also be wonderful. They would appreciate it. It's going to make you feel better. You don't have to burn that many calories just to be pleasant or say hi or try to improve someone's day or an animal's day. So, if we all did that, I think the world would be a better place. So I always like to leave off with that. All right. Johan says, thank you, Greg. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you, Johan. Appreciate that. David says, Greg, VIAC, huge volume on Friday and today too. Well, let's take a look at VIAC then. Viacom. Oh my. Oh yeah, I heard this was the I think some of these stocks, there were some large block trade kind of distributions selling in these. You know, is it time for a bounce? It could be. But it was over 30, rejected the 30 today. If it were me, I'd look for a nice, clean intraday rejection of the 200 with a good risk to reward ratio, or possibly we fail and go under the 200-day moving average. Maybe we test the 250-day moving average. Confluences and combination of indicators are a big thing for me. So, a rejection of the 200 or a rejection of the 250 along with the V1 or a V2 would be good. But there's been a lot of selling here. I'm sure it's going to have a hard time making any significant comeback with that amount of selling. If it comes back, I bet you it comes back to about there is the maximum, which is halfway of the big down bar. Lovis says, thank you for everything, Greg. I'll be listening to Steve's interview today. I as well. I'm excited to listen to anything that Steve has whenever Steve is interviewed. What's today, the 29th? Wow, this month went by fast. All right, well, I think that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for coming. Have a good rest of your day. Go out, be good, be kind, be safe, drive safe, do something nice for an animal and a human. And listen to that podcast that I just put there with Steve Burns, where he's interviewed on Transpider. So thanks a lot. And I'll see you, hopefully, God willing, see everybody tomorrow during the last hour of the market. Take care and thanks again. Bye-bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.